Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and this is my recap and review of Insecure Season 2, Episode 2, Hella Questions. And of course, I had to get my wine for the wind down of this episode. This episode was great. It turns out it's also the favorite episode of Issa Rae, the creator and star of the show, and I can see why. It starts off right where we left off kind of the next day of Molly and Issa talking about, the random fuck between her and Lawrence. And Molly's asking all the questions that we want to know. Did y'all talk after? Have you talked to him? What's going on? Does this mean that you're back together? And Issa's just absolutely confused, like most people would be, because she had no idea what was going on. Like, she sent him some texts. Apparently, when Molly looked at them, they weren't even open ended questions or questions at all. I guess she might have just said, like, did you get home? Or maybe she said, hey, and he said, hey, back. And so she's just, Issa's waiting to hear back from Lawrence about what's going on. And Molly's like, is this an angry, like, I hate you fuck? Or was this we're back together, I love you fuck? And I personally think it was a, like, I still love you, and I just have this kind of, I'm in my old space, and you're here and I'm there, and it's just that animal kind of attraction of like, I still want you but I hate you, because he didn't really look her in the face when he was doing it. It was really quick, and it really did seem like I hate you fuck, like a mad fuck. So anyway, so still confused about that. Then you see Lawrence. And what's going on with Lawrence is that he's also confused. So Issa's not even sure what's going on, and she's assuming that maybe he's trying to, figure out his feelings, and turns out that he actually was. We see Lawrence doing what he should have been doing last season when he was sitting on the couch for 4 years. He should have been up in the gym or personal gym in the house just working on that body, and that's what he's doing in Chad's garage. Pulling on you're doing some pull-ups and, some weights, and he got the arms looking good, although the legs were still skinny, so he needs to work on them legs. But we see him start to text Issa, and he's not sure what to say. He said it's fucking weird, and I don't know what's going on, but he deletes it. He doesn't send it to her, and it moves on pretty much from there. We also see Molly is still mad, so at least she's using now. Let me get back. She's using the therapist to actually sort through her feelings about this gender gap, wage gap, which is funny because today that I'm recording is Black Women's Equal Pay Day, which pretty much puts out the fact that for a Black woman to make the same amount of money that a white man makes in 2016, that she has to work all of 2016 and pretty much all of 2017 until July 1st to actually have equal pay. And so it's cool to see that it lands around the same time as this date that they have this episode of Molly is just like, I do this, I work hard and I should be rewarded for it. And the therapist picks up on the fact that she says should a lot, like she expects her life to be a certain way, that she had these designs, some dreams about her life, that she expects that A equals B, that 1 + 1 is 2, and she's just not understanding why her life has not matched up to the hard work that she's put into it. And so she points out to Molly, and Molly's like, well, I guess so. I mean, I do have life goals for myself, and I do feel that I should have these certain things. And it's cool because the therapist actually tells her it's a medical term where people kind of set themselves up. I kind of like to call it the fairy tale Disney-fied version of life, where you say, I should be married by this time, I should have a job by this time, I should have kids by this time, be based off of some, not even reality, but this dream scenario, this fairy tale scenario that we all get as little children, especially for girls, that you're supposed to have these things by a certain time. Like, I thought when I went to college that I should be married, or be with my future husband by the time I graduated. That didn't happen. And it took a while for me just to realize that it doesn't happen for everybody, that it's okay, that there's plenty of life to live, and that even if that did happen, that doesn't necessarily mean that I would have been happy, because I know plenty of people who got married in their 20s, got married early, fell into that trap of, you meet someone, you love them, and you should get married, and now they're divorced before they're even 30 or by their 30s. And so that is what Molly is dealing with, and I love that they're attacking this actual issue. Now, going back to Issa, and we see that she is talking to the girls. They're all at Tiffany's art gallery. I guess she's a gallery, I don't know, exhibit, I don't know, like an art dealer or something like that. But she seems to have a client that has an art show going on. So all the girls are there, Molly, Issa, Tiffany, and Molly. And they're all kind of like just talking about the party. And Molly's like, that was the best party I've been to on a Thursday in a long time. And Issa's like, yo, my apartment was, burnt down. And Molly, of course, which I found out that she actually does ad-lib a lot of her lines and is one of the writers, which is so cool. That's why she's so funny. She's like, yeah, that means that your party was lit, because your apartment was on fire. Who says that? So then she's like, we should go out. Molly told, not Molly, Kelly is saying, we should go out. That's what I was talking about before. Kelly's the one that writes all of her stuff for herself, and it's super funny. It said that the party was lit. Anyway, so Kelly's like, we should go out, and Issa's like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, what's going on? Like, why don't you want to go out and have fun? And she's like, well, I'm trying to not go out and meet people because I think that me and Lawrence might get back together, because he came over and we talked. And Molly's like, y'all talked? That would have been me. Like, y'all talked? Really? How many words were there? But so she tells him, yeah, he came over and we're working things out. It's taking slow. I don't expect to come back to me immediately. And I love this part with Tiffany saying, like, like it happens. All relationships have problems, even perfect ones like mine, because, my man was living in a hotel for half of last, never mind, because he did, never mind. And she's like pointing out that even her perfect marriage has issues, and her husband actually spent half of his time not living in the house with her, and he had to kind of earn her trust back. And so that was great that she kind of put that out there, and they were trying to get her to say stuff, and she said, I said we good. Anyway, and so Kelly, of course, is like, oh, does that mean that Lawrence broke up with old girl? And of course Issa never knew about Tasha, so now she found out. And then it turns out Kelly found out from Tiffany, and Tiffany found out from her husband. And so she was like, well, I didn't think that you should know, and I thought it was just a rebound thing, and y'all moved on, and blah blah blah. And so she tells them that her name is Tasha, and of course Molly, like I would do, looks her up on the Instagram and finds her and shows everybody the pictures. And Issa's trying to be grown and say, I don't want to see her, I don't need to talk bad about her, because it's not her issue, it's my issue with it's my relationship with Lawrence. That's the issue, and I don't want to take her down. And then of course Lisa goes to the bathroom and does her epic raps, which was great. She was like, yeah, if he's so good with you, why he coming back to me? He's all up in my like, I'm making up words. Like, she didn't say he was all up her punani. But she, she mentions the line like, do I have to be Michelle Obama and go high? She's like, fuck that, I'm gonna go low. And so she's decided that she is going to not, be grown and mature about this. And so when Molly comes to check on her in the bathroom, she says, bitch, pull her up. And so, now she's going to look at her Instagram page. And so the music in this episode is epic, because they have a song called Time, like all up on a timeline. I was like, oh, shoot. Oh, okay. I love the music. I can't wait to have the soundtrack for the first season, and I can't wait for the soundtrack for the second season, because it's so good. And so we see that happens. We also catch up with Molly and her job at East 41st High School, which turns out to be not a Latino school. I thought it was, but it's actually a school that has been merged together with another school. So it used to be predominantly black, but now they have a significant Hispanic population that has come in, Latino population. And when her and Frida haven't had any headway with the kids there, they go talk to the vice principal, who is this black guy who seems to be, super the vice principal, who seems to be super busy, and he's like he's talking to them, typing on the computer and talking on a walkie-talkie to, I guess, some of the staff members, or about finding mold and trying to move things and paint things and all that stuff. And we do find out that he's a bit racist. Like, at first it was just like, okay, did he just make a joke? Like, he was asking them, like, they were like, we need help, we need, your support if you can. He asked what teacher was it, and they said Miss Alvarez, and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, got all these kids in here. Like, we barely got any space for all these kids, and then we've lost funding. And maybe they should build a wall for themselves so they can be on that side. And he's just laughing. And Issa's like, and Frida is just completely like in white girl privilege land. Like, what? Like, I can't believe he just said that. Did he just say this? And so he said he's gonna work it out for them to help him out. And so we see later that he does. He actually switches the teachers, the classes that he's working with, so they pair them up with a black teacher that I guess was a long time teacher there, and she has all the kids in the library for them, and they're like, hi, how you doing? And so it's great for Frida and Issa. They're like so surprised, like, is this a trick? Like, are they gonna run off with our food? And it turns out it works out really well. The kids are really into the program. They're really respectful. They're saying hi to them in the hallway, like, hi, see you later, see you tomorrow. And they're absolutely, like, Issa's loving it, and Frida's like, this is great, but should we report the principal? Because, like, I was thinking about what happened the other day, and it kept me up all night, and I ended up watching 13, and I tweeted Ava DuVernay, or she calls her Ava, DuVernay, and she liked it. She liked the tweet that I sent her. And so she's really just not understanding why Issa's not more upset about this. And Issa's like, well, I can't change him, and we can't tarnish all the good stuff that's happening now. Like, we've had 2 consecutive days of the kids coming, by putting this into the report that the vice principal is a bit racist against Hispanics. Because we see him in the hallway, and he goes by a few Hispanic students, Hispanic Latino students, and they're speaking Spanish, and he said, hey, not in the hallways, save that shit for the bus, save the Spanish for the bus, not in the hallways, here we speak English. So we definitely I can see this becoming a much bigger problem that they're going to explore towards the throughout this season, which should be good, because it's an actual real world problem when there is black and brown tensions historically in LA, because of the fact that they are marginalized groups that are kind of pushed together and fighting for similar resources. And yes, there's been efforts for them to work together, but that usually those in power tend to try to pit these 2 groups against each other for these resources, and overcrowding a school and kind of not being able to meet the cultural and educational needs of both groups, ethnic groups, does cause a lot of problems. So I'm interested in seeing where they go with this. And it was, very obvious that this vice principal is racist, because he sees Issa outside, and she says, thank you for, changing up the teacher and giving us some help there. And he said, yeah, us, we gotta stick together. I mean, us black people need to stick together, because everyone else is sticking together, and the Hispanics are taking over the school, like, and taking over the area. And so I can't wait to see what they have to say about that, and how Frida responds to it, if there becomes some tensions between her and Issa over this issue. So anyway, then we see Lawrence. Lawrence is chilling with Tasha. Well, we'll stop calling the Chase Teller hoe, because she ain't a hoe. She definitely was flirting with him, but didn't know he had a girlfriend, and didn't fuck with him until after he broke up with Issa. So can't call her a hoe. Sorry. Maybe I'm projecting on myself. Anyway, so he's, they're hanging out in her apartment, and she's saying, like, they're watching the fake underground show, which is getting a little bit heated, and of course they had Jake from Scandal in there, and Regina Hall's touching him like, ooh, I made the soup super hot for your master, and he's like, ooh, meet us at the spot. And so it's funny. I can't wait to see the rest of this show through the show. Anyway, Tasha's like, well, She's talking about her mama called her and she's trying like, we're having a barbecue, a family cookout, not barbecue, family cookout, and I was going to invite you. And Lawrence looks and he's like, the whole time he's looking disturbed and kind of distracted, and she picks up on him, but he won't say anything. And so she's like, you know, you don't have to come, like we're not an exclusive. And then he blurts out, I slept with Issa, I slept with my ex. And Tasha gets immediately upset and she asks him to leave, and he's like, you know, I just don't know what happened. It just happened. But Lawrence told her, he leaves. Then we see that Issa is so tired of waiting for Lawrence to get back to her, so she goes over to Chad's place because she knows he's staying over there. Lawrence is staying over there, and of course Chad, who is hilarious, and comes to the door with a juice, like one of those like green smoothie juices, or just juices from the juice bar around the corner. He's like, yeah, the neighborhood going good. He's like, hey girl, you do something different with your hair? And she's like, yeah, I put new conditioner. Is Lawrence around? He's like, no, Lawrence is not around. You know, he ain't here, but you know, you still work with them kids. It was like, it's just so, the small talk is hilarious because he looking at her like, what you doing here? That's what he's really saying, like, what you doing here? Oh, look at this. And so he asked her, you know, do you want me to tell Lawrence you were here? And she's like, no, I'll tell him myself. Then we see Lawrence finally meet up with Chad. He comes back to the place, and Chad is so mad because he obviously told Issa, he's like, yo, dude, I thought you were on your player stuff. Now you want some John Legend shit. So you're telling your new chick about your old chick. And so, which I also thought was stupid too, because I don't think they're not exclusive, so he doesn't need to tell her that he had sex with her unless he was planning to have a relationship with Tasha. So again, I don't get it, but whatever. And so they're going to go see an apartment. I think Chad's tired of Lawrence being in this place. So he put, you know, since he's a real estate agent, he went with him to go look at a new apartment. And so they're looking at the apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, and Lawrence is kind of unsure. He's looking around. He's like, oh, you know. And then the realtor that's showing it is saying, like, you know, this unit is very popular, so if you want it, you have to jump on it quickly. And I think that kind of goes with the whole where he is with his relationship with Issa and Tasha, and figuring out, like, I gotta make a decision now, because if not, then I'm gonna miss out on opportunities. At the same time, we also see that Molly runs into Lawrence, and she does it as a favor to Issa. She pops up on him, fakes that she knows where he works, so she's walking around until he finally sees her, and she asks him, you know, are you going to get back with Issa? She's still in love with you, and she's sorry. She's not a cheater. She just cheated, and she finds out. We don't get to see the real conversation. I wish we had seen the conversation, but he tells her that he's done with Issa. He's moving on. He's actually getting a new apartment, so Molly tells Issa this, and I'll tell you in a second how she reacts to it. She tells her this, and Issa's like, oh man, thanks for telling me, and she's like really upset about it. We also see from Molly that she is really trying to get into that boys club and trying to make inroads with the partner at her firm, and trying to make connections so she can get that equal pay that she deserves. And so she goes to a hockey game that she found out that some of the partners and other associates were going to, and she's like talking to the main partner and making jokes about lobster rolls, and thinks that she's really, it looks like she's doing good, and saying like, oh, you know, I never watched hockey before, but I think it's really interesting. And so it seems like she's, you know, getting into that old boys club. And it's interesting because when I looked around the actual space that she was in, she was, one, the only female there, and two, the only black person there. And she might have been the only person of color there too. And so there's all these different layers there that kind of shows you what the business world looks like, and what the glass ceiling for minorities, either that's gender or racial minorities, is in these kind of these spaces where it's dominated by white males, and still is dominated by white males, despite the fact that this country is becoming more and more diversified, and we have plenty of people that have plenty of education and experience that should have the chance but don't get it because they're not a white man. And so, as I said, the last scene, so after Issa finds out that Lawrence don't want her no more, and he's moving on, she actually goes on to her, she goes and starts moving her stuff over to Lawrence's side of the closet, realizing that he's not coming back. Why am I only using half of a closet in an apartment that I am living in by myself? So she starts moving her stuff, And the episode actually ends with her going on to one of the dating apps and talking to one of the guys that she was already talking to, and puts in "trying to fuck?" ? Oh, Issa, I was with you. I understand you mad, but we can't be putting "trying to fuck" on dating apps. It ain't gonna turn out okay. You might end up with an Usher situation where this dude might give you herpes because you just fucking anybody just who says hi to you. That's not good. No, no, no. No, no, no. We also see at the end, that I skipped over because I don't like Tasha. I mean, regardless, she's not a hoe, but I just don't. I mean, I'm Team Issa on this all the way. But he goes over to Tasha's house and tells her that he it's not gonna happen again with him and Issa. That it's done with that, and he's sorry. And so she's trying to blow him off, and then she's like, I cooked some food. Are you hungry? And of course, he pulls out that Antoine Fisher line, I can eat. And so that they're back together. And we see in the previews for the next episode that he's actually going to go to the family cookout at Tasha's, and I think he'll notice that they're not a good match. Not at all. Not at all. So I'm interested in seeing what happens on the next episode. Again, the music was great. And I just love the show. They played some SZA on here. They played a song that had fuck these niggas. I was like, oh shit, oh. Sometimes I feel like I'm a Cali chick because I lived there for a year, but I'm not. I'm from Boston. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this episode. And make sure that you have your glass of wine as you type this up. But let me know what you thought about this episode. Did you like it? Where do you see things going? Are you okay with Issa going into the hoedom, going to a hoe phase after this breakup, that she knows that Lawrence possibly is not coming back, even though I know we think he's coming back at the end? Are you okay with Lawrence now? What do you think about Lawrence and having this relationship, or trying to have a relationship with his rebound bae, Tasha? What do you think is going to happen from Molly? Do you think she should speak up to the partners? Do you think she should try even harder to enter into the boys club? Or do you think that she should try to take a different direction to get the things that she wants? Because I did mention this, but she did talk to the old female partner that got moved to Chicago, and she did offer up, she wanted to be mentored by her and help her out. And so she's going to be doing some work between Chicago and LA. And I think Molly might get career stuff going on there and might find herself a nice, boo thing along with the therapy when she's doing this, trying this different path to move her life and career forward. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next week for another wind down of episodes of Insecure. All right, bye-bye. I love me some wine.